What is a subtle sign that someone is really intelligent? They can ask really good questions. Edit. To anyone not understanding what mean, I'm talking about people who ask really good questions. Not just any questions. Really good ones. I don't know how one would achieve this skill. I know I haven't. Edit 2. Since this comment is getting a lot of attention, I'd like to say, don't forget to drink your Ovaltine. When they explain something, they make you feel intelligent. Explaining something complex is simple terms. Knowledge is so vast that they can talk about in the easiest way for someone else to understand. People who use analogies to explain concepts to others. It's a form of code switching, and integrating concepts on the fly is a clear indicator someone is both socially and conceptually intelligent. Edit. As many have pointed out, not all analogies are helpful or make sense to others. So a useful analogy that creates an aha moment for someone is a wonderful thing. An analogy is an association, a mental process of connecting an idea or thing to a relatable image for someone who can then see and digest the initial representation. Not using analogies doesn't mean someone can't be intelligent. And social intelligence doesn't mean social ease and charisma. It means an awareness that one's own understanding and experience often has to be translated in ways that others can relate to. They spend time thinking before asking a question. They can genuinely consider an idea which opposes their worldview without necessarily accepting it. They can switch up the way they talk to match the person they're talking to without sounding condescending. They listen to how others learn and explain it in that person's language of understanding. They aren't afraid to say they don't know the answer to a question. They know when their knowledge ends and say something to the extent of "I don't know, and anything else I say on this topic is ignorant speculation." They admit to changing their mind about something. They effortlessly communicate complex concepts in a simple way. They can follow the plot of Kingdom Hearts without needing any line graphs or charts. Massive alien forehead. They are curious about everything. To be intelligent, you need to be knowledgeable, and you can't be knowledgeable if you are never curious. Admitting when they're wrong and being willing to learn from mistakes. They say they love learning, and they learn something new every day. Then they listen more than talk. Deleted. I think intelligent people are more willing to calmly debate, discuss, rather than argue. Like, you explain to them why you disagree. And they listen to you and ask further questions about your viewpoint before offering a different perspective, as opposed to an unintelligent person who would just resort to insults when other people disagree with them. They draw wisdom from multiple sources. Wait, but that might be more wise than intelligent. But I guess those two tend to be seen together a lot. Humor. I think that truly funny people are often very smart and cognizant of the different ways an idea can be humorous on several levels. They also know their audience. I think the difference between, say, a Jeff Foxworthy and a Dave Chappelle and a Bo Burnham is their audience and their interests. Talking to people as if they're intelligent at their level and without being condescending or even letting on that it's lower than their level. I used to work with a doctor, Tom Howard, and the day I realized he was a genius was the time he guessed every single condition a patient of mine had based on minute pieces of information about him. They apply knowledge from one realm into a new and relevant situation. For instance, one person described a situation, might have been on Reddit, where they were a new assistant in an academic research lab and fixed a snag that stumped all the senior researchers, including the professor. The team was trying to video record their project using a strobe light, and their footage wasn't working as planned. When no one else made progress at diagnosing or solving the problem, the most junior individual spoke up and suggested that the strobe could be out of phase. They remembered that video typically records at a rate of 24 frames a minute second, thanks for the correction, and explained that along with suggesting a change to the strobe's flash rate so it would coincide with the recording. This worked. And it really raised up that individual's reputation within the group. Inwardly, they were almost embarrassed about the source of this knowledge. They had a gaming hobby back in high school, and had taken some video footage of that, and discovered the standard frame rate while playing around in editing software. But they remembered that detail years later and realized it made a difference in a completely different context. That is intelligence. They're logical, and they find out more information rather than believing something right away. They don't brag about it. They don't open up threads like these hoping to find comments that fit how they see themselves. Yeah, I see you looking through these comments. You shouldn't ask Reddit about intelligence. You can honestly just tell by their vibes. The way they compose themselves. Talk. Write. Think. Explain. Etc. What I find the most interesting is that intelligent people, in my experience, are more likely to be less cold, fact-driven and more theoretical and creative. For example, if an intelligent person were to read a certain stat, fact, idea, etc., they are likely to have very interesting theoretical extrapolations. My friend qualified for the Mensa membership. And whenever we talk, his mindset always strays towards very interesting outlooks. He has certain ideas that I would never have even thought about. It's actually very fun to talk to intelligent people. The way they are able to absorb information like a sponge and apply that information is very eye-opening. They understand what you're saying before you're even done with your explanation. They're curious as heck. There is also this lovely thing I like to call intelligence by association. I am a prime example of this. My small rural town seems to think I'm a genius simply because I can read at a level above your average 4th grader. When in fact I'm a high-functioning moron. ITT. People who don't understand the difference between intelligence and social skills. Intuition. They listen really well, and seek to understand when they listen. People who are genuinely curious about the world. Ask questions. And listen to others instead of just waiting for their turn to talk. Also, they don't view education as just a means to get a job. They solve math problems left on the board at MIT and they're only a janitor. Active eyes. But not in an I'm tweaking right now way. Curiosity. Pursuing things they want to know for about and just having an interest in things. Dynamism and creativity. I really don't agree with that old notion of an intelligent person. As someone with social difficulties who's good at logical thinking, this is just one single possibility, among dozens of others. This is more of a hit or miss one. But in casual conversation they're good at puns, wordplay. Making good puns, especially spontaneously, requires a high level of understanding in whatever language is being spoken. If they tell you a pre-constructed joke that has a punchline that is a puncline if you will, you can't really tell. Because they could have had a lot of time to come up with it, like me for instance. Or they could have memorized it from somewhere. But spontaneous puns generally mean they're processing your conversation multiple interpretations at once. In an intelligent way. Great sense of spatial awareness at grocery store. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like. If you would like to see more content like this in the future, subscribe and turn on notifications to be notified about future videos. Now check out one of these interesting videos.